Yes, ma'am. We are live.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, good evening, everyone, and good morning. Greetings from India to everyone across the globe. And Laliji, please make Jenny ma'am host. And today we are here on a very, very hard-hitting session of the January month of 2025, where we are going to create awareness not only on the professional aspect but also on digital aspect, where the digital world has taken everyone by storm. So before I start my session, inviting the speakers of today, first of all is that are you ready to unlock your full potential and live a life of purpose and meaning? It starts by embracing your values, standing up for what you believe in, and refusing to compromise on your principles. When you live with integrity, you learn the respect of others and create a life that truly reflects your values. Are we as educators reflecting on the values? Are we as educators creating a benchmark on the values and integrity where the social media has taken everyone by storm and each one is trying to uh, portray himself or herself as the edu hero of the world or whatever it is. We as educators were professionally working to bring a change, to create awareness on a very healthy and a productive front. Today we have a plethora of speakers over here, and today's session is actually international global session where I will say educators and professionals from across the globe are going to speak on their respective topic what they have and create an awareness on the topic they have chosen. So before I invite all the speakers, I would like to uh, suggest everyone to speak about themselves and their topic that they're going to speak and take the stage. On the stage is all yours after that. So today the first speaker of the day is I would like to call Noli sir. And Noli sir has a professional approach to the topics, to the what I will say a justice given to each one, and I've experienced this myself as a speaker under him. So hats off to you, Noli sir, for being here, and my respect to you to please take over the stage and introduce about yourself and the topic of today. Over to you, Noli sir.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Sono, for your trust and confidence. Even though I trust myself not to steal the thunder from Super Mike. Yeah, and still the thunder, as if you're Thor. Hi, Mike. So we're already discussing things earlier, just a sort of a high and lows. So we have the highs and you have the lows. High and the lows. Anyway, so my topic today is about digital professionalism in my school at St. Mark Integrated School. So when you say it's, so to shorten it, either SMIS or SMIS as abbreviation. So how we navigate the modern landscape of online interaction. So again, good evening, everyone. Good morning from those other side of the globe. So hopefully, you don't fall off if we lose gravity there. So I'm excited to be here today to talk about a topic that has become increasingly important in our digital age, digital professionalism and how it applies to both students and teachers at St. Mark Integrated School. By the way, I'm the vice principal since 1995 and with my wife, Dr. Richelina, as the principal. So you know the chain of command is still there. So I'll carry over from my household role as a supportive husband and a diligent driver going to school. So, what is digital professionalism? So, let's start it by defining it refers to standards, behaviors, and values that guide how we conduct ourselves in the digital world. This includes how we communicate, interact, and present ourselves online. At SMIS, we strive for a digital environment that mirrors this respectful, responsible, and collaborative spirit we embrace we embrace in the classroom. Digital professionalism is not limited to our students. It involves everyone, teachers, staff, and students alike. Whether we're exchanging emails, participating in online discussions, or working together on digital platforms, it is important that we all follow the same principles of respect, clarity, and integrity. In my school, we rely heavily on digital platforms for learning, communication, and collaboration. Would you believe that due to the heavy traffic, so instead of going on site, they prefer to do online learning instead? So to them, when we made a survey, they said that it seems that the face-to-face and online on-site learning, there's not much difference, because my son, who is also our assistant principal, so you can see the hierarchy: my wife, the principal, then I'm the vice principal and the assistant principal. So you can see the succession and the trickling of benefits coming from from the main benefactor to the ones below the hierarchy. So it's sort of a caste system, but it's not actually a caste system. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Happy Republic Day, India, for the past I think 3 days. So in my school, we rely heavily on digital platforms. So 70% of our students more on online learning and communication and collaboration. Whether we are participating in class discussions online, completing assignments, or interacting with our teachers and peers, the way we present ourselves online has significant implications for our school community. For students, digital professionalism means showing respect for your peers, teachers, and the learning process. For the teachers, it means creating a positive, supportive online environment where students feel encouraged to participate and grow. By practicing digital professionalism, we ensure that our online interactions contribute positively to the culture at Smith's SMIS, and we set ourselves up for success both academically and professionally. Now, we're going to explore some of the key aspects of digital professionalism that both students and teachers should observe. Whether you're a student or a teacher, how we communicate online sets the tone for respectful and effective interactions. When we send emails, messages, or participate in online fora, we must be mindful of our tone, clarity, and respect for others. Now I'm going to do it the third person. I'm going to talk as if directly to you, teachers and students. Students, be clear and concise when communicating with teachers and peers. Please use respectful language and always check for spelling and grammatical errors before sending messages. There are now tendencies of judgment usage. Instead of trying to complete sentences, they just cut up the language. Unless when there's fire, you just say fire, and it comes from bullets from Mike or Genie, because they have a gun culture there. When they say fire, it's not the absolute fire of flames, but from the guns. So it's about cultural context as well. So we also have to respect, because when you make people angry, they may come fire with fire, and it kills you, literally. Teachers, please maintain a friendly but professional tone in your emails and online interactions with students. Be clear in your instructions and responses, and always be timely with your feedback. So sometimes when we try to oversee and administer our teachers, if we don't observe or see their work, they might lag on and they will try to rationalize. And there's so much work to be done. So they have to actually manage their time and respect by their students, especially when it comes to the assignments being sent. Because every Friday, that is the time we gave them a whole week, especially those doing online classes, to submit their assignments within the week, not at the day that you're given and give them just 1 or 2 days to complete their work. So they have Monday to Friday, they have their lessons. They have until Friday to finish everything. And do not wait for, and I'm reminding our teachers not to go beyond the time allotted for the Monday to pass through, giving another new sets of lessons without trying to make feedback or check their homework or assignments. So both students and teachers should avoid using overly casual language and abbreviations unless it's appropriate for the context, especially when you try to teach contractions and abbreviations. One of the advantages of digital communication is that it allows for quick exchanges. Being prompt in responding to emails, messages, and assignments helps maintain the flow of learning and encourages efficient collaboration, especially online. Sometimes the it's how you pace yourself that means the continuity in the flow of the message you're trying to convey. So it's also not about wit and humor that will carry the day because humor can only bring the attention and make it engaging. It's always the substance of the lesson that will carry it through. Sometimes it will, especially when you're online. So you just have to be engaging. And it happens so that Jeannie and I, we share that wit and humor in class. Uh, me more on wisdom, she more of wit. But hopefully, we can do both at the same time, right, Mike? And hello, Yelena. So, where was I? So that's why when we carry it through, you're going to cut the session and you forget the flow of the lesson. So, students, so I'm talking to the students, not only to the teachers or the our eminent speakers here. Respond to your emails from teachers and classmates in a timely manner. Meet deadlines because we cannot check unless you submit. And they're also pressured because they have to follow the syllabi and the time frame of when to finish units, especially if there are 3 units or 4 units in a quarter because we have 4 quarters here. And sometimes, and most of the time, 80% of the time, we don't finish the book because we are delayed by the delayed submission also of the requirements from students. How's the delay? Okay. So the coffee, if it's being delayed, it's also all delay me from delivering a good, good responses also or good ideas. Hopefully the coffee from Doc Mike will come here, especially the pizza. I like pepperoni. And then now we have Dr. Yelena doing that, the coffee part. Right on time, right on cue. Always, Dr. Yelena. That's why you're a good friend. That's why I say it respectfully online. I don't know if I can say it otherwise. Uh, Teachers, you respond to student inquiries promptly, especially when it relates to assignments or class discussions. Providing timely feedback helps students improve and stay on track with their learning. In today's world, how we present ourselves online, whether in email, social media, or professional platforms, matters a great deal. Both students and teachers need to be aware of their digital footprint. Students, be cautious about the content you share on personal media accounts. Remember that potential employers, college admission officers, other students and parents may also view your profiles, especially if Sona is also a vice principal of our school. She will time and again, not as often as we like to, given the time constraints we have, we'll also try to check out our students. Uh, on our free time, right? If you have the free time to do so. So always think before you post and ensure your online presence reflects the professionalism you aim to convey. Teachers, you're not also exempted. Your social media presence should also reflect professionalism, keeping personal and professional boundaries clear and separate. Your digital actions set an example for students, and it's important to maintain the integrity of your role as an educator, both online and offline. So when you say a difference between a politician and an educator, it's very evident here in my country. So educators, they always look up to themselves as with fortitude, with a higher morality. The politicians, they always take what you have in your pockets, and even what's inside in your mouth already. So you can see also how their intestinal fortitude will always think of themselves stealing from the coffers of our country. So pardon me if that's how I give due respect to our politicians here. So don't mind that. So hopefully you can erase this portion of my so it's all right now. It's all right according to Mike. Mike the Hitman. So I just try to avoid the bullets coming from you. Both students and teachers must respect the privacy and boundaries of others in the digital space. In just the last 5 years, we enacted laws for the Data Privacy Act to also give way to laws protecting all people, all persons. But that has been not the case, especially here in our country where implementation is suspect, where the money can dictate and sway the hands of justice. Uh, this means understanding the importance of confidentiality and being mindful of personal time. So, in our own environment, separate from a corrupt society that we're in, we're trying to make an example for students, for our institutions. We cannot save society, but in a way, we can influence this core of people who are civilized will be our future, who will be our clones in a way that we can influence them to be circle of influence in their future. So if we have around, for example, for me, 5,000 who are respectful, who are diligent, who love their country, then probably they can also influence 5,000 others. Imagine 5,000 times 5,000 25 million. You don't have to wait for another generation just to say, I cannot speak for myself. This country has education cannot do wonders. But if we have our high hopes for that, especially when we start from this digital profession, though it's just a limited version of how we think of respect, then we can start from somewhere, especially with this topic. That's why that is the relevance. What is the objective of Sonal here? When we can be professional in one way, in this particular topic, then we can also be professional with the other aspects of our life. So, students, speaking to the students, and my beautiful student here is with the white hair, the blondie. Do not share. So, oh, Dr. Yellen, you just move her back. Do not share personal information because you like coffee so much about your classmates and teachers without their consent. Respect their time by not sending messages or emails outside of school hours unless it's urgent. And we still receive messages from them even early in the morning. Teachers respect students' privacy and avoid sharing personal information or grades without consent. Understand that students may need personal time away from the digital classroom, so be mindful of how often and when you communicate with them online. so I'm not uh, deviating from the path, but I experienced firsthand our registrar at a premier university as University of the Philippines, which I considered the most prestigious university in the Philippines, even though it's a state university. Somebody approached me, and it's the college registrar. So he knew my brother because from the National Arts Center, which is also the prestigious arts school in my country. And he divulged that he was disappointed with my grades. And it's in the front of other people. So then when I look back, I didn't say anything because I was I was put to shame. And I was just in college, and he was in his he just finished his doctors. Now, if you experience that, it doesn't give you the right to also hurt people because you experience it firsthand. It is also the way that you know firsthand how to avoid abuses, how to be respectful because you experience yourself being abused or disrespected. So we try to do that in the confines and we try to educate not only our students, but also our families, our parents. The problem is when it comes to private schools, our parents think that they're just paying tuition, they just let their children's education with us. You just take care of our children's education. So don't mind us trying to help you us. That's why we always repeat in our school having our teacher, administrator, parents conferences that we do twice a month, that reminding them that this is a partnership between home and school. Whatever culture we have in school, you practice it also in your home. If you cannot do that, then we just refund their tuition if they can follow that. Because a bad egg will always contaminate the whole basket. No, we're becoming serious. Because remember, being professional is also being serious. Even though I make fun earlier about humor, but when it comes to education, education is a serious profession. Hello, Rania, and you're smiling. And I'm trying back to be in my wits now. At SMIS, collaboration is a key. Whether it's for group projects, class discussions, or other academic work, both students and teachers need to observe strong digital etiquette to ensure these collaborations are productive and respectful. Students, please acknowledge the contributions of your peers in group projects. Give constructive feedback and stay on task. Your participation and respect for other ideas will create a better collaborative environment. Teachers, when managing group projects or class activities, provide clear guidance, encourage balanced participation, and ensure that students' contributions are valued. Foster a collaborative atmosphere where every student feels heard and respected. A strong digital reputation is important for both students and teachers. It helps create an environment of trust and respect, which is essential for learning and professional growth. Students, build your digital reputation by engaging in responsible behavior. Participate in school-related activities, interact with teachers and classmates professionally, and actively contribute to digital learning platforms. Teachers, when we say professional, we try to teach also our students because when we talk about professional, we always equate that with age. No? Maturity is not about age. It's about here. So when we try to define profession as Mike, when I listen to Mike, he doesn't talk about kids as trying to say A, B, C, as if you're trying to slow the learning and try to, instead of bringing up to the level of a grade three as um, classified reader, you just try to slow the process when the formation of kids from 1 year old from a few months old to three is the fastest growth they are going to have for development in a normal development of children. So try to make professionalism a, a part of their vocabulary. Not try to say, when you work, then you just be responsible professional. Is that the case when you try to define professional? When you finish college, then you start to be professional. You start to be a professional or entrepreneur, just like Mike said, or just like when advocacy of Sonal, and we're going to limit this. We're going to limit this to those who are able to finish their times here and trying to give out their experience, which have a refreshing outlook that would influence people to be inspiring also, to be leaders themselves, to be fishers of men.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. I think we will get back to you again for the next round, and we've crossed the time limit also.
Yes.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
that's the time for me to conclude.
exactly.
Yes,
So we'll get
a
back to
nice
you
way
for the next
to
round.
say that.
Yeah.
So,
We'll get back to you for the next round of questions from the other speakers who are there. And
okay.
before I go to the next speaker, I would like to just inform you that after the session, after all the speakers are complete, here the session is going to be different where I will not be reviewing the speakers. So I will select any one of the speakers to review a particular speaker's speech. So be prepared for that. And moving on to my next speaker of the day is we have Jenny Rapsat ma'am from USA, and I will call her as a humor in education and an educator who merges humor in the classroom and humor in her sessions and all. So over to you, Jenny ma'am. Please introduce yourself and about the topic that you're going to speak. And I think it's going to be a very hard-hitting topic. So over to you. The stage is yours.
Oh, oh,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good morning, day, afternoon, evening.
Uh,
Respected DMM, Professor Dr.
Jelena ma'am, I've invited Jenny ma'am, Jenny Rapsad ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
sorry, I'm sorry,
yeah.
I'm sorry,
Jenny
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, I'm sorry
No
much.
problem, no problem. Jenny ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am delighted to be here. So I'm attempting to get myself on the screen here. Speaker, okay. Maybe Sonal, if you mute, then I will be on the mains. Yes, okay. Finally, I'm here. Thank you so much. I'm doing that in the speaker mode for the people who are watching from home. I'd like to introduce my topic, which is digital plagiarism and passion, and I will cover three aspects: the present with AI, my past having to do with digital plagiarism, and my future as it in respect to digital coaching. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen right now. Let's see. Wait a second here. Can everybody see my screen? Can
Not
you
yet.
answer me, please?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. I'm going to go back. Let's see. I'm going to go back here. Share my screen. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. What is going wrong here? I'm sharing my screen or not? Do you see my screen, my PowerPoint? Can somebody answer me, please?
Yes, we can see your screen from the laptop. So instead of trying to share the whole screen, you just going to share your tab, only one of the tabs. Yes, that's correct. Mm, that's the one.
Okay, now can everybody see the slide?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. I always love it when there's a glitch. Okay. So I know many of you, all of you probably are very familiar with the AI tools, but I put this in my slideshow for the people at home that may not be aware of all of the different tools that there are for AI, and some of you may be actually using them already. This is one of the charts that has been widely circulated on social media. I see it all the time popping up here and there, but it talks about the programs that are available. And I can tell you from my research is that most of them are not free to use. Some of them have a freemium aspect where a limited part of their program is available for the public free of charge, which we call the freemium, but most of them have a premium price if you want to get all of the features. So digital plagiarism is something that all of us, especially those of us who want to protect our professional reputations, want to avoid as we move into this new world where everything is being created by AI. I can't even open a Word document without an AI little button popping up. And so this is are some tips to avoid digital plagiarism. I'm showing you the website, the link to the website where I got this information, and I retrieved it last night. So the idea is that we want to disclose when we are using AI to generate content and properly cite the sources where necessary. And this is just a must if you don't want to be accused of plagiarism, is to cite your sources. And you need to fact check and edit. So review AI generated content for accuracy and originality and make the necessary edits that you need to have an accurate presentation. You can use plagiarism detection tools, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more in a minute, to help identify AI generated content and understand ethical guidelines with whatever institution that you are working for or whatever conference that you're submitting your paper to. You want to make sure that you know what they want from you. Now, these are the best free plagiarism checkers that you can use. Anybody can download these if that you want on demand, and then you can use them. When I was starting out as a grad student, they used Turnitin, which was the popular one at Purdue University, and it's been around since 1998. And it compares student work to large databases of students' work that has already been published and online materials. It generates a report that shows how much of the student's work matches work in the database. And the similarity report can indicate when students have paraphrased source material or used an indirect citation. And Turnitin is free for teachers to use. Basically, the university pays per use every time that somebody uses Turnitin. So, but the teacher doesn't have to pay for it out of pocket. And there are other plagiarism detection tools that are really popular. And one of the ones that we use, GPT-0, and of course I have Grammarly on the chart, and Winston AI. So I'd like to also warn you about hustles that are available on social media. And this is one that I came across recently. High paid AI consultants, take their course. And of course, this is a come on because only portion of this is free. If you want everything, you have to pay. So it's the usual bait and switch. And they teach you how to make billions. Okay, yeah, that's going to happen. And so they provided a link on, this is right off of Facebook, their Facebook ad. And so what ends up happening is that they're conning people. I went on and I did a search of criticisms of this particular group of people, which is known as industry rock star, Kane and Alicia Minkus. And some people said they were wonderful, but most people said, boy, this is just a con, this is BS, blah, blah, blah. So I want you to be aware of these kinds of organizations that try to take advantage of people who are trying to learn how to be adept at AI and how to do a good job teaching their students using AI and how to use AI. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my personal experience with my passion in the past and what happened to me as I was pursuing. So I set out to earn a master's degree in 2005. It took me 13 years, but I finally got my master's degree. And during that time, I became, I was working in Chicago, so I'd go into the city, 40-minute train ride into the city in all kinds of weather. I'd take the train back, go to the park and ride, hustle to my evening class at Purdue, sometimes in snow, sometimes in rain, whatever, to get there. And I generally made it on time, maybe a second to spare. So it was a big effort to be in grad school, not only the cost too, because at Purdue, grad school hours are twice the cost of undergrad hours. So then I was became the caregiver of my mother. I had breast cancer myself, taking care of my mother when I was recovering from surgery. And I stayed with my mother. You know, she moved into my house and I took care of her when I retired. So there was a lot of commitment from me to get a master's degree. So you can imagine how disappointed I was when one of my final group projects involved a cheater. So the professor assigned two people to me. I was team leader by their consensus. And so I started putting together our project, which was going to account for a lot of grades. And one of my student members of the team decided to cheat. And this was before AI. What she did was a cut and paste from the internet, put it together, gave it to me as team leader as her portion of the project. I said, wait a second here. No, you have to cite your references. This is not correct. Oh, no, I did. I said, no, you have to cite your reference in accordance with APA, which for those of you who don't know, the American Psychological Association is what communication departments in the United States use as their citing mechanism. And so we had an argument about this and I said, no. So my second member of our little 3-member team was a young man who worked for Ford Motor Company in Hegewisch, Illinois, just across the state line from where we are at Purdue and Hammond. And I told him, she's cut and paste this. I can tell because it's all different fonts, different format. I've spoken to her. She doesn't want to correct the paper. So I said, I have invested too much in my degree to allow it to be stolen from me by a cheater. Because if we plagiarize, then we just get kicked out of the program. And he was going through this master's program on a stipend from his employer, Ford Motor Company. He didn't want any part of a cheater either. So I decided I told her, you can either submit something that's accurate or we're going to sign a disclaimer. She kept insisting that her work was accurate. So I wrote a disclaimer, the young man signed it, and I turned it in and let the professor handle it. And he took the coward's way out, and she passed the class. But it taught me a lesson that, you know, there's a lot at stake for everyone who is involved in trying to get a degree, and you cannot allow somebody else to steal it from you through their dishonesty. That and having breast cancer while I was working through my program, I said, boy, this is the hand that I was dealt. I didn't ask to have a cheater on my team. I did not ask to be placed in a position where I would have to rat out another student. I didn't want any part of it, but it was the hand that I was dealt. So when I was selected to be the editor-in-chief and co-author of the department journal, their 10th anniversary edition, I titled our contribution "The Hands That They Were Dealt," because everybody has a different set of challenges when they're going through the program. But I'm telling you, having to deal with a cheater on your team is no fun. I graduated May 4th, 2018. Oh, happy day. After 13 years, walked down the aisle. This is a picture of my mother. She was very supportive of me being in the program. She lived long enough to see me, to know that I graduated. She was too ill to go to the ceremony. She passed away on Christmas Day, 2018. I was very proud of myself. This is a picture of some of my favorite classmates. Now, you have to keep in mind that I was 69 years old when I got my master's degree. These classmates of mine were the age of grandchildren. Really, I was old enough to be their grandmother, but we had a wonderful time together. I still keep in touch with many of them, and they're all doing well. They're married now, starting their families. They are happy about the work that I'm doing in the community, international community, especially teaching. So I had this very special moment because I protected myself from the dishonesty of another student who is not in this picture, by the way. So now my new passion is here in the future, because I recognize as a coach that AI is a very helpful tool in many respects, but AI will never replace my eyes, my ears, and my insight when I'm coaching a speaker or an entrepreneur that's pitching for money. During the past several years, since 2019, I was associated for a large portion of that time with Purdue University Commercialization Manufacturing Excellence Center, where I helped entrepreneurs pitching for money. And during that time, I helped my clients win tens of thousands of dollars in prize money. In addition to which, they've had success in national pitch competitions and on television. I had a small group of people in my workshop at Purdue, 9 to 10. They all entered Duquesne University's New Venture Challenge. Out of the 80 national entries, 2 of my workshop members were chosen in the as finalists. So I have enjoyed my success, and I really firmly believe that AI can help you, but it will never replace the insight, eyes, and ears of a coach. I'd like to thank Sanal Jaj and Metamorphosis for the kind invitation to present here today. And if you have questions later, I would be happy to take them. So now I'm going to stop sharing. And thank you very much, and we'll move on to the next speaker. Okay, so now,
Excellent, ma'am. You actually created an awareness on AI and what it is like to value each one's effort and work that they are doing on the digital world. So uh, later on, I will just connect with all the speakers and shuffle the speakers for the review of each other. So moving on to the next speaker of the day, I would like to invite Jelena ma'am, over to you, and please take the stage, introduce yourself and the topic of the day, and create awareness on it. Jelena ma'am, over to you.
Okay. Good morning, good day, afternoon, evening. Respected dear ma'am, Professor Dr. Sonar Kumar I, ladies and gentlemen, I owe a special thanks for the invitation to be speaker, and I'm above all greeting to the organizer Global Maker Edu Summit from the founder Metamorphosis ma'am, Sonal Kumar Rai, and the entire team. I have experience in higher education and science with the spectrum of education, and these challenges me to discuss different topics. My topic today, the importance branding for higher education. I to go research on branding in higher education has grown. A specific focus on internal branding in sector is still scarce. Brand support by mind level administrative staff, and this is key element in internal learning of university. This my study is from project education explored the extent to which internal branding contributed to this group's understanding and enjoyment with the public institution the branding combined. Its identity, challenge in practice inside, for practice for internal branding activity when engaging these internal stakeholders. Linkage to wider brand management theory and practice. A qualitative case study approach was employed to understand the effectiveness of internal branding holistic and context. In 2023 and 2024, interviews were conducted with a range of mid-level administrator and dean, including those the student union, regional campus director of department, and dean of faculty and school of Serbian University. The data was analyzing using in vivo qualitative data analysis software. On the basis of the results, it is apparent that internal branding has a valuable role in relation to higher education brand management strategy. Results after a holistic view of the rebranding process and explorer understanding of and enjoyment with the branding campaign. This my lecture address a gap in the public sector brand management literature and demonstrate theoretical and practical implementation for improved understanding and brand management strategy in the competitive landscape of higher education. Branding is essential for institutions seeking to differentiate themselves and attract prospective students. This conceptual my lecture explored the critical component of effective higher education branding and proposed a framework consisting of 5 strategy steps understanding the influence of branding. A link brand identity with audience performance, ensuring constancy across all channels, incorporating community and history, and analyzing computer brand identity. This framework aim provided institution with a comprehensive approach at development of completing and distinct brand identity. University branding intensified competition has increased the importance of branding in academia. Universities may, for example, each increase the number of quality of students, improve alumni links, recruit talented employees, and gain support from the corporate sector, as well as future districts themselves from actor in higher education. However, is around that higher education district multifaceted with regard to its stakeholders, environmental, and this differ from many other environments. According the complex nature of higher education highlights the role of marketing and the internal marketing in realizing the brand identity, creating a challenge for development a short head branding. Very, very interesting what question? Understanding the influence on branding, the step emphasize the importance of monitoring brand awareness and assessing reputation to understanding how the institution is preserved with the target audience. With preference, the focus in understanding preference, the aspiration, analyzing computer brand identity, research contributions, influence on prospective students. The impact of branding in prospective students is profound. Branding can inspire or repel these students, significantly affecting their perception and decision, highlight an emotion and attribute associated with an institution broad are crucial in shaping this preparation. Branding brand equality is very very important. The role of visuals for this innovating continuous monitoring of brand awareness and success and institution reputation through various methods, service, feedback. This step involves understanding target audience. Very interesting gap identification. My discussion is next is the proposed conceptual framework for higher education branding integrated key principle of branding with target strategy that address the unique need and the challenge of academician institution. This framework is designed to help university and colleagues create a completed and distinct brand identity, which is essential for attracting prospective students and fostering long-term loyalty among current student and alumni service. Here we discuss the practical implication and benefits of each step in the from their work, highlighting how they collectively contributed influence, breeding, understanding, professor, university, understanding the influence on branding, the best step, stakeholders, etc. My conclusion of this lecture: the proposed conceptual framework integrated key branding principles with specific strategy tailored for higher education, providing comprehensive approach to creating a complete and distinct brand identity. By understanding the influence on branding along with audience preference, insurance constancy, incorporating community and history, and analyzing competitor institution can efficiently different themselves in competitive market. In the branding and mentioning and brand high A sector is very challenging activity, the focus and commercial aspects, such as branding in inherent difficult in university is there to need, build, relating, linking department have a commercial prepares. A unique position is necessary. The key will to be take no action and show why they work. As a recent study on market and education asked why should university routinely consider alternative and radical structure and roles for themselves. There might by other existing model that emerged if we think, talk and act rather than the positive, why shouldn't we consider alternative part perspective? I say higher education institution and higher education system must consider and pursue new paths that explore and shape education's future structure and roles. And branding properly understanding and use in the way to the soul. Thank you very much for attention. Thank you very much, Professor Sonal, for invitation. Very, very interesting conference education program. Metamorphosis is important in the world. Thank you very much, my colleague. The best regards to all my friends, university professor, and scientists, especially best regards, my Rania, here nearby our country. Special.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Special.
Thank you so much, Jelena ma'am, for bringing this empowering talk show and creating awareness on the topic that you have chosen. Definitely, we will have a review session and after all the speakers are done. And thanks to everyone for being a part of this session. And over to the next speaker of the day, Mike, sir. Over to you. He has been waiting since long. So over to you, Mike, sir. Take the privilege and introduce yourself. The stage is yours.
Yes, greetings of today, and I'm feeling so elated, empowered, and really cherished, and most importantly, I'm feeling sort of mesmerized because the mindfulness and like the ideas that are coming up and the stories you people sharing. Really, congratulations, Johnny. You really showed up real power, energy, and resonance within your story. That's really amazing. You know, there was the biggest fear in this world is like people don't share their personal story. So that was so amazing. That was incredible, seriously. And Nolly and Sonal and Rania and Delina, like you all are the greatest speaker. And I'm just learning and I'm just student. And I today have to share something very interesting that well, children are growing up. So how can we help them like to become entrepreneur? Here, entrepreneur not being like someone who's gonna make a lot of money, but the entrepreneur mean a person who's very confident, who is resourceful, who is very positive, who is very detached from unproductive and unproductive things and beliefs. So they are very special people. So here we have so many stories. Every day, like I shared it with the young kids, and I have created one program. It's really something really amazing. And if someone can join this program, in talking about the teens, like if they could join, so they can think like Richard, Charles Nackers Branson, Warren Buffett, or the Mark Zuckerberg. They can really think and they really can work. And why? Because when we look into the past, we see all the greatest tycoons or the greatest impactful people, like they had a great story when they started off, and there were a lot of things what can pull them or what can help them like really to think bigger. So if you see, there was a young guy, it was 1950s, and he was growing up, and one day I shared this story with young students, and they usually respond differently. So that's pretty interesting. Once upon a time, that there was a young guy. He was just, I don't know why people mostly from 11 to 12 or 13, 14, like this kind of age, like is very critical. And I don't know why mostly the greatest top success story happened, started from this particular age. So once there was a young guy and he came back home. The parents were rich, they were doing great, and when he knocked the door, the parents came at the door and they have something in their heart and mind, and they said, "I'm sorry, we can't allow you to stay at our home. Why? Because you know manage everything from yourself." And the guy, that young guy, was so shocked. But there was something special, in his heart, and maybe some very special seeds in his heart. And he said, "Okay." So there was an agreement between the boy and the parents that, okay, I can stay at home, but I gonna manage everything from myself. I will manage my all expenses. So it was the greatest lesson. The greatest situation was created for that young guy, and he was not just living at the home, and he was searching a job. It was 1950s, and it was not quite easy to find a job like once you are just 11 years. So he was searching a job, so he was not getting any work. So by end of the day, like he got to work. He got to work at some newsstands.
I think sir is facing some technical issue.
Mike, can you hear me? We cannot hear you. Can you hear me? Well, bummer.
Yeah. We'll wait for 1 minute and then we will take over to Rania ma'am. Are you there, Mike, sir? He's facing some connectivity issues, I think so. So, yeah, I think sir is joining again. Let's see. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, over to you. Yeah.
So I love these kind of disconnections and glitches because it's this only universal thing that happen consistently. So well, that boy was so amazing, and he was doing that job, and he was getting money early in the morning. He was throwing newspapers, and coming after from school, he was throwing newspapers again, and he was getting some money, so he could save 2,000 US dollars. It was the greatest. It was big, huge money because it was 1950, so he could save 2,000 US dollars in 1 year. And he decided, like, okay, then I need to invest that money. He decided, what was the scene really? That was amazing. So he bought five different massage machines and he dropped them at the different places. And he was charging 50% commission from those pops from those shops. He was getting 50%. And the first 2,000 US dollars he could save in 2 years. And then by investing those 2,000 by purchasing five different massage machines, now he was able to get our next 2,000 just in 6 months. All right. And then he decided, okay, I'm getting rich. So he decided to invest more money. And after investing more, then he could get 2,000 more. So now he was owner of 6,000 US dollars. He acquired that capital and now he was becoming rich and rich. So he bought a car and people around him in the street and everyone was shocked and said, wow, the guy is becoming rich. So they came and they asked him, okay, like, can you invest our money? He said, okay, I'm invest your money, but charge 20% commission. They said, okay. So right after 2 years, he started one greatest company with 100 stakeholders and investors. And with help of those investors in next 5 years, he had five more companies. It means 500 more people were investor in his business, and he became
Well, there he goes.
I think I'm back here. Well, sorry for interruption. I don't know what's happening. Well, so uh, he was now owner of a company, 5 companies. He was doing great, and he became the symbol of investment. And I'm talking about the Warren Buffett, the greatest guy. Later on, he became the world's richest person in the world. And the greatest thing about him was when he was in class 5 and he was in class 7. So he was just finding the answer of one significant question. And the question was, how to invest money, where to invest money, what's the right time to invest money, how to earn money. So he was just earning, and the clue was like he was reading not about the course books, he was reading more about the experts or the people who already have done great in their fields regarding the investment and the money. So I mostly, when I'm a teacher, when I'm a trainer, so I spend my whole day and 24 over 7 by 365 with the young kids. So, and I've been like going through with a lot of curriculums and things. So I didn't see any question what can help the young kids that how can you become rich? Because by end of the day, when you have money, you can buy people's time. You can uh, I'm not talking about like to becoming rich, but at least like once you have money, so you definitely can put uh, a dent, or at least like you can have the greatest life. So that was the Warren Buffett story. And if you look at the Mark Zuckerberg when he was young, when he was 11, so with the help of his 4 friends, they were searching like, and they were thinking about like how to connect people. So initially, they connect the people from their street, and later on, they experienced it in one state, and then they came and they started to experiment within India, and like they got connected everyone on this globe. He was the young guy. He was just 11 and he was thinking. And when I ask young kids, they're seriously thinking about like, hey, I need to get my pocket money. I need to buy an ice cream. So I don't know where the kids get these very special seeds, but that's why, if they don't have. So we can tell them these stories. So I feel like because we all are stories and we learn from stories, okay, and we are becoming a story. So in the major difference between successful and unsuccessful people is the stories, because successful people, they mostly have listened the stories of successful people and productive people and the people who really can put a very positive impact on the people. So I want to talk today that how can we transform the young kids, what kind of those measures we can take. That can help the young kids to become the entrepreneur. Here, remember, the entrepreneur mean the people want to go into the next level. They're positive, they're resourceful, they're productive. The entrepreneurship is absolutely do not mean earning money, because I personally, I'm believing in social entrepreneurship. I believe differently. So I want to talk to you about like how can we help the young kids, being the parents, being the teachers, though the parents they need to have some quality time with the young kids, because the conversation between teachers and students and the parents and their kids, that value that matters a lot, what kind of conversation you have, because by end of the day, the way your focus goes, all your energy flows. So the parents, what kind of conversation you have with your young kids? Like I mostly train parents for to plant those very special seeds in the young kids. And how can you do it? By questioning them. And you need to raise questions. You need to ask questions from your kids, especially when you get them to the restaurant, or you get them like to outside or for any event. Or you can ask, you can tell your children like how do you manage your home, where you get this money, and how do you manage your budgets, how you are managing your home, and what are you doing for this? And you tell them the value of money, you tell them how to spend money, and they need to know the rules of money. The money is just like a girl. If you don't take care, so someone else will take her. So, we need to know the rules of money, and we need to tell them like how to save money. Why? Because saving is not something because it's a commonly people they understand like saving is something the money you get, and after spending that money to manage your expenses, you spend on your most important expenses, and the leftover the money you get at the end, like that's your savings. So no. So we need to think on 360-degree. Uh, your saving is the money you appropriate in the beginning. Like if you have 10,000 US dollars, so you need to appropriate 6,000 or 7,000. You need to appropriate, you need to get it separate, okay? And you start living with the remaining money, all right? So the money you appropriate in the beginning, that's your saving. Saving is not the money what you get in the end of the day or like your leftover. So we can help, we can develop a habit of saving money. How can you develop in the kids, like, being a parents, what you can do is, um, if your kid, if you want to get some bike or some bicycle, so you ask them, you give them money, all right, and don't give them money consistently the same kind of money. Like if you are giving 100 US dollars of pocket money every week or after 15 days, that's not okay, because you need to fluctuate. You like because if you're gonna give them the same level of money, so they would be expecting okay, and they would start remaining in the same budget. Okay, so you fluctuate. So you help your children. How can you plant that seed of saving? Well, I'm assuming like if you want to buy a bicycle for them, so you give them money every week, or you're giving money on daily basis for the pocket money. So you tell them, okay, I'll save at the half of money you are going to contribute, and half of the money like I will contribute. So this way, like they will start saving money from their budgets, from the money like they are getting in the pocket money. So then they get that half of the money, and you contribute half the money. So it's kind of like investment, and you are developing a new habit among your children how to save money and how to invest money. And then you go and get the bicycle. This way you can help them to value the money, okay? And you help them to value the time, because time is the most important relevancy, you need to tell the kids. So we can help young children by giving them some exercises, like you can brainstorm business ideas with your kids. You can ask them like, how can we earn money? That's important question. Okay. And listen their ideas, like how they are moving, and are they really thinking on the next level of consciousness. So you help them to think better and better and better. So here I need to really talk about, because we all are I'm talking to the superhighway leaders out of here. So here's a very beautiful idea. It's Steve Jobs, a particular way of visualization, or uh, to to fix and to like to get some idea. Like it was so amazing to visualize about ideas. So he would used to say like, okay, number one, like you gotta go, like if you have one smart statement, I'm assuming like, okay, I want to lose my weight, I want to lose my 20 pounds weight by end of 2025. Okay, so I'm making this statement very smart. Okay, and then you find 21 ideas that how to implement that idea. What could be the solution? You get like, so the idea number 21 would be the greatest idea. And then you write the 21st idea, the last idea, and then you find how to implement it, right? So how can you implement? So we can help our kids like to visualize like a Steve Jobs. Okay. So we need to help kids to brainstorm their ideas, okay? Like how can we earn money, okay? And how to invest that money, how to save that money. And most importantly, we need to help our kids how to deal with the criticism. Why? Because you are going through the criticism. I personally feel there are two types of people in your life. Ideas sport group people, the people come in your life and they support your ideas. And then you need one more kind of people. They can be anybody from your life partners. They can be idea critic group people. They're the people, they criticize your task, they criticize your work, and you're not ready to listen everyone. All right, you just because if you want to if you be criticized by everyone, then it would be so difficult like to manage and to show up that much temperament. But you need to develop some people in your life who can criticize you, or the people who can support your ideas, because otherwise it it becomes pretty hard, and it gets very hard like to bring this much radical changes. So the one missing factor, like we are not helping our kids, and that's I feel like I've been feeling for last couple of decades, that we are not helping them how to create perseverance, how to be consistent with their efforts. Why? Because it's a common habit like we give up. So we have to help our kids like how not to give up, how to stay consistent, and how to bring perseverance in your life. Because that's only the time. Because this is the time people give up. Okay, and giving up isn't a great idea. Okay, so a lot of people they give up on the first attempt when they get failed. So we have to create this habit. We need to help our children uh, to believe in that they don't need to give up, okay? And they can believe uh, bigger than other people, and they definitely can achieve it. Okay, so there is a lot I can say, but I would love to summarize because I know the more speakers, they are waiting for their turn. So we can help our children like to read more entrepreneurial storybooks. Okay, we can provide them in if you're a teacher, so you can provide them, you can gift them on their birthdays, all right, or you can gift them kind of book. Like I was reading the story of Richard Branson's today. So amazing guy when he was so young, when he was just 14. So he started to write for the magazine. It was a student magazine, and he could earn 8,000 US dollar, and then he could distribute 50,000 copies to the people free of cost, and that could help him to become the greatest entrepreneur. And now you see he is running more than 400 companies overall in the world, and he has been so impactful. Okay, so I would.
So wonderful job. I think we are falling short of time, and I would like to just add on here that it's a kind of instilling financial literacy in the children from early age to
Yes,
make them entrepreneurs.
exactly. And the last thing is like we need to celebrate their mistakes, because the school is a place where we punish our kids in different perspectives. So I
Yeah.
don't believe in punishment. So in this perspective, you see that Destra School, Alan Muskin's doing great. There is no kind of very special, not kind of caging classroom. There is no kind of segregation between the age. So the people are sitting up there according to their aptitude, okay? And they are just teaching them like the gamification, and the most important subject like the coding and gamification. And the kids, they are being synthesized to learn and to go through the internet, and they are learning like the Zoom classes with Dana and the greatest like the team they are working um, with Alan, and they are doing. And the most important thing, they are helping them to become entrepreneur. They are giving them money, and they have called it bazaar. They invest money, and once in a year, like they come and they buy and they sell their products. So it's being an entrepreneur is an aptitude. Okay, you can, and they accept all kind of opinions. They accept all
Wonderful.
answers. Like if they come up with the problem, so they are ready to listen everyone. So every answer and every solution of the problem is acceptable because no one is wrong. So we can grade it, but it doesn't mean like the idea or the solution is wrong. I really appreciate it for your time, and
No, it's okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for creating awareness on this much needed topic for the next, I think, 21st century learning, as we call.
Yes, sure. I
Yes.
would love to talk about it.
Yeah. So moving on to the last speaker of the day, our wonderful and dynamic Rania ma'am from Egypt. And over to you, Rania ma'am, for the topic of the day. And let us all hear what you have in for creating awareness on the education front. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, dear Sonal. I'm very happy to see very good friends here and eminent speakers from different countries. And I'm always very honored to participate in Metamorphosis events. In the spirit of what Mike said about gamification now, I want to say that as, of course, educators, innovators, and learners, we all share a common goal to foster environments where students thrive, they're engaged, and above all, they are inspired to reach their full potential. So today I will explore how two powerful methodologies, gamification and reinforcement learning in education, are shaping the future of education. And these methodologies actually offer a vision that is far more engaging, dynamic, and personalized, because they can actually transform classrooms from passive learning environments into interactive playgrounds for knowledge, where each student can learn at their own pace, they can follow their interests and receive immediate feedback to improve and succeed. Of course, all this under the framework of ethical guidelines, as dear Jeannie mentioned before. And of course, during the review session, I would like to review Jeannie's presentation about ethical use of AI. So allow me now to share my presentation. Can you allow me?
Yeah, I think Jenny ma'am will
Sonal?
make you the host. Jenny ma'am, you can make Rania ma'am host.
I already gave permission, so she should be able to share.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you see now my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So gamification and reinforcement learning actually are two concepts that can intersect in interesting ways. Gamification is when we use game design elements in non-game contexts in order to engage and motivate people to achieve specific goals. So in education, gamification involves incorporating elements like points. Students earn points for completing tasks, for answering questions, for demonstrating specific behaviors. Student progress through levels based on their achievements or skill development, of course, the badges for mastering certain skills or completing specific milestones. Leaderboards, students can compare their progress with their peers, fostering a sense of competition or collaboration. The challenges, instead of traditional assignments, which usually are boring for students, students take on quests or challenges to complete specific learning objectives and, of course, rewards and feedback, because immediate rewards or feedback help reinforce positive behavior or correct mistakes. So the idea behind gamification education is to increase engagement, motivation, and retention of information by making learning more interactive, more enjoyable, and goal-oriented. Actually, games tap into basic psychological needs like autonomy, mastery, and relatedness, as we say. These terms are outlined by what we call self-determination theory, which can lead to more effective learning experiences. Second, we have the core principles of reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is a branch of machine learning, where here we have an agent who learns to make decisions by interacting with an environment to achieve a goal. The agent takes actions, observes the consequences, and receives feedback in the form of rewards or penalties. So the key objective here is to maximize cumulative rewards over time. The core principles, of course, of the agent, this is the student here or a learner, the environment, a learning platform that could be your classroom setting, the state, the learner's current progress or performance level, the actions, for example, in educational context, actions could be completing assignments or solve quizzes or participate in class activities. After each action, we have, of course, the rewards. And the policy defines how the agent selects actions based on the current state. So in a gamified educational system, this could translate to guiding learners towards behaviors that improve their academic skills. The value function actually estimates how good a particular state is in terms of expected future rewards. So it helps the agent to plan long-term strategies rather than focusing on immediate rewards alone. So in education, it encourages students to invest time in difficult subjects for long-term learning benefits. Very important, exploration versus exploitation. The agent must balance exploration, means trying new actions to discover their effects, and on the other hand, exploitation, choosing actions that are known to yield, to bring high rewards. For instance, in a gamified learning system, learners might explore new subjects while at the same time focus on known areas of strength. So what we call exploration exploitation trade-off, I'm going to see about this. This is how reinforcement learning model is. And now we want to apply reinforcement learning to gamification in education. Then, of course, we talk about more adaptive learning paths. AI can be used to create personalized pathways for students because it can adapt dynamically to students' performance, suggest the most appropriate next step, whether this is a new challenge or revisiting a previous topic. For example, if a student struggles with a math concept, the system might provide easier problems for reinforcement or suggest related exercises. Of course, we have here the reward system, which is more dynamic and tailored, so learners are rewarded based on the unique progress and effort. Gamified progression, this means that we can design progressive challenges in educational games by adjusting the difficulty level based on the learner's actions and performance. The system actually ensures that students are continually challenged without feeling overwhelmed. And this is similar to how games increase in difficulty as players advance through levels. Here, it's very important to know, according to the theory of Vygotsky, what we call zone of proximal development. This is the area between what a learner can do unaided and the tasks a learner cannot do at all. Here you can see the first step is when we learn with guided assistance. Then we have less assistance, independent learning, and there is now a zone. There is the out of reach zone when we can't do anything, zone of actual development, we can do alone something, but the zone of proximal development is what we can do for help, with help. So this is very important because this incremental difficulty keeps learners in the zone of proximal development, where tasks are challenging but achievable with effort, leading to better learning outcomes. This is what the zone of proximal development means. Now, what is the difference between fixed reward systems and gamified systems? Gamification, said before, involves exploration, discovering new skills, new concepts, and mastery, how to perfect our known skills. So reinforcement learning exploration, exploitation trade-off can be applied to help learners explore new subjects, but at the same time reinforcing previously learning material. For example, a gamified learning system might encourage students to try new topics. This is exploration, but also reward them for consistently performing well in familiar areas. This is exploitation. At the same time, it's about motivation and engagement by continuous rewards. Reinforcement learning power systems can provide teachers with real-time data on student progress, learning patterns, and areas of difficulty. So teachers can use this data to tailor instructions for individual students or small groups. RL helps balance immediate rewards also with delayed rewards, so more immediate delayed gratification. It helps with self-paced also learning. And it's something very important. I want to make to see an example here. In the mathematical, for example, you have an app, mathematical learning app, that uses reinforcement learning. Students solve problems to earn points and unlock levels. The app tracks the progress, rewarding correct answers and adjusting the difficulty based on performance. So if a student struggles with the fractions, the reinforcement learning algorithm identifies this and presents easy related problems while offering encouragement at the same time. So as the student improves, the problems gradually become more challenging, allowing for both mastering, exploration, and new concepts. Actually, we talk about more dynamic systems than before. They try to handle diverse user behaviors on learning basis, more increase user satisfaction, they avoid predictability and boredom. What I said before, that you need to know here the trade-off, this dynamic balance that actually ensures that users are continually challenged and motivated to discover new content and ways to improve, so exploration, exploitation. And intrinsic motivation is another issue, very important. For example, in gamification, intrinsic motivation usually stems from mastery. It is a desire to improve skills or achieve competence, the autonomy, the feeling of control, self-direction, from purpose, engaging activities that align with personal values or goals, and curiosity, the inherent pleasure of learning or exploring something new. So how intrinsic motivation aligns with RL reward mechanism? Because RL can be designed to support gradual mastery, so long-term learning and skill mastery. Autonomy personalization, because they can offer users a degree of autonomy by tailoring rewards based on their individual behaviors and preferences. Curiosity-driven exploration, because these systems support exploration through their exploration-exploitation trade-off, and of course, self-directed and self-paced learning where users can pursue their goals according to their own interest. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, which actually often involves tangible rewards, social recognition that could be praise from others, social status or peer comparison, avoidance of penalties, also completing tasks to avoid negative outcomes or loss of status, and how this aligns with RL reward mechanism with through immediate rewards, through social rewards, competition, task completion, and variable reward schedules. We can optimize variable reward schedules, but users are rewarded at unpredictable intervals. So this aligns with extrinsic motivation by leveraging the psychological principle of uncertainty, which it is what keeps users engaged in the hope of receiving the award. And this type of reward system is commonly used in games and social media to drive habitual engagement. How to balance intrinsic and extrinsic motivation and RL-driven gamification? We need to take into consideration these issues. The over-reliance on extrinsic rewards, which it is bad because it can lead to a reduction in intrinsic motivation, particularly if users begin to focus only on external rewards and lose interest in the activity itself. So this is need to be taken into consideration. How to reinforce intrinsic motivation? This can create long-term engagement, so it's positive because users become more motivated by personal growth, mastery, curiosity. So this system should aim to foster these internal motivations by providing opportunities for meaningful challenges, autonomy, and self-direction. And finally, a blended approach, both intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. So at the intersection of gamification and enforcement learning, it's all about learning platforms, reward systems, educational games, and the benefits of combining these two sectors, of course, have to do with increased motivation, real-time feedback, with better retention. The challenges could be how to balance this. So the over-reliance, as I said before, on gamification can shift focus away from meaningful learning to earning rewards. And of course, implementing RL in educational environments requires substantial data collection and computational resources. So designing reward systems that accurately reflect educational goals can also be something very complex. So, of course, the concluding, we need to take into consideration all these ethical and psychological considerations that have to do with addiction, the over-engagement, how the extrinsic motivation sometimes undermines intrinsic motivation, the equal access and fairness, the lack of transparency in informed consent, the cognitive overload, and of course, privacy data collection and manipulation of behavior. Especially children are particularly vulnerable to behavioral manipulation because children are still developing at this age self-regulation, critical thinking, decision-making skills. So RL systems in gamified platforms can condition children to engage in certain activities or spend excessive time in a game, reinforcing habits that may not be in their best interest. So this means gaming addiction or compulsive behavior. Parents, especially parents, should be careful about all these issues. And finally, I want to say that reinforcement learning, of course, can make gamified systems more engaging and effective. At the same time, it raises significant ethical concerns, particularly when it's used with children. Neuroscience also has proved that gamification can have positive effects, especially in brain development, in how to develop, for example, spatial awareness, etc. But at the same time, issues like addiction, manipulation, privacy violations, undermining engagement motivation highlight the need for always thoughtful design, responsible implementation. So by balancing the benefits of reinforcement learning with ethical considerations, we can actually create systems that promote healthy, productive engagement while protecting the well-being and rights of young users. So thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. What a enlightening session from each one through words, through digital presentation, and through your own, I will say, integrated learning and professional creations of this. And it's a privilege to have such ethical and extremely professional educators to bring a change on the real ground. I mean, on the reality, what the picture is showing is very bad. But as we all are here to gather and create awareness, definitely we will see a change coming in the near future, so that educators do not only rely on the training sessions and the training institutes that just give training on the academic front, but here we are trying to create a upskilling also through educators like you, the STEM researchers, humor, and digital awareness and entrepreneurship, and from Noli sir, how to be an integrated professional, and from Jelena ma'am to bring awareness on science and research. So over to Jenny ma'am for reviewing each and every speaker for today. So Jenny ma'am, please take the privilege before I
Well,
wind up.
thank you very much for
Yes.
giving that
Yes,
level.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. My experience much years ago, experience education, university, and science, much education. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear professor. Thank you very much, my friends. Today is a very interesting lecture to all, especially you especially. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. Over to you,
Yes,
Jenny ma'am.
I enjoyed all the speakers, especially it was quite inspirational to hear Jeannie and with your pictures with your batchmates. So I just realized that I'm old enough to be your co-host and I'm young enough to be your grandchild.
Definitely, I'm going to invite you on Metamorphosis as a co-host. You and each one of you to take the place where I am now. So you all are part of Metamorphosis, and definitely, as Rania ma'am has already taken the mantle of hosting one, so the next one you all are going to be on the radar for hosting also in the coming months.
Well, I will proceed with the comments that you asked me to make, but I want to correct one thing that dear Noli said during his presentation. He said that he was the wisdom and I was the wit. And I got to tell you, I am the wisdom. He is the wit. Okay, we got that straight. I loved his presentation very much. I think that it's important, the points that he made about AI is not just limited to the students. And we as educators have to set the example. We have to show them how to cite. When I was teaching, I had specific classes on how to cite in APA because I was in communication and that's what we use. Internally and in the bibliography, which in APA is called references. So I really appreciated very much the comments you made about teaching the students etiquette in their communications through email, online, to each other, and to the teachers. You know, email is a very potent way of communicating. When I was working in legal profession as patent and trademark paralegal, one of the very first things I learned was the E in email stands for evidence. Okay, that's what it stands for. So if you are ever accused of something and you say, I didn't do it, and then they pop out that email, that is the evidence. So I think you made some really excellent points there. Congratulations. And now Sonal has given me the job of saying a few words about each of you. Sorry, but here I am. I'll move on to Yelena's brilliant conversation about branding. And I think that that is such an important topic in the international commerce that we all enjoy today. Branding is recognizable through logos. It's an important part of how the company feels about itself, how it describes itself. And that's the kind of thing that we really need to teach our students. And I'm sure that in her classes, she shows successful examples of international branding and how it serves the corporate entity that it represents. So that was very, very interesting topic. And then I'll move on to Mike's presentation, and I want to thank him for the compliment he made about me sharing my story. And then he went on to share the story of Warren Buffett and how we should teach children to be entrepreneurs. And where I grew up, I didn't grow up in a rich community, and we students who were trying to get school clothes or a basketball to play with or whatever it is, we knew that we had to earn money. So my brothers had paper routes, I had my babysitting. In those days, no wash and wear fabrics, and ladies didn't like to iron their clothes. I would make money ironing for ladies. And so I began entrepreneurship, understanding about if you want money, you have to earn money. And I think that he made the excellent point about not only teaching them that it's important to earn money, but to save money. So I thought his talk was very, very interesting. I'd like to move on to Rania and her discussion on gamification. Wow, there was a whole lot in that. I'm going to unpack only a little bit of it because there was a lot of information in there. She examined the pros and cons of benefits and detractions, I guess, of the gamification process. See, this is new from when I was in school back in the dark ages. Of course, we didn't have gamification online. But I thought there was a lot of information here and a very good job of putting together that slide presentation to articulate her points. So it was very good. And I'm listening and learning about it too, because some of the organizations that I belong to have sometimes at the end of a session a little game, which I'm not always, up for because it's like, what? But I think that the students really like a break in the regular grind of teaching, of a student standing, listening to a talking person up at the front of the classroom and having the opportunity to engage online. So thank you very much for the information. And once again, thank you for the invitation to be here and to be a part of this forum.
So wonderful. Thank you, Jenny ma'am, for taking the privilege of reviewing each one. And I think it was a really wonderful session today from each one of you. Total justice given to each topic. Hats off to each one of you. So thank you to all once again for being a part of Metamorphosis, creating awareness on extremely empowering topics that were given and chosen by you. So before I take the lead to wind up the session, a small message from my side. An empowering truth is that certain relationships can flourish despite their current imbalance through our determination and generosity. Some individuals can come to value us, shifting from viewing us as a convenience to a cherished priority as we continue to invest in the learnings and the education professional development. This dynamic approach reflects each one's capacity for growth and to our inherent worth. Recognizing this reality so challenging, it is crucial for each one of us to nurture emotional well being along with professional and ethical relationships and fostering more harmonious, reciprocal professional relationships in education. So, celebrating our intrinsic value separate from external validation is vital. So, thank you to each one of you for creating awareness, for once again a very, very enlightening session. And I will request you all to please share the YouTube link so that educators across the globe benefit not only in India but across the globe also. Because each one of you has really given a really wonderful justice today. So hats off to you and bow down to you with a lot of respect. Thank you so much once again. Have a good day. Thank you.
Good day. Thank you very
I will
much.
share the certificates soon. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Bye,
thank
Waiting for
you,
Bye,
Sona.
Bye,
Sona,
Noli.
Elena, Rhea,
Yes, yes.
Rhea, Jeannie.
Thank you.
3 wishes from
know what?
Jeannie.
What
Yes.
I'm going to do now is I'm going to prepare some lunch. So maybe some of you are heading off to bed, but I'm ready to go make my lunch. So I'll see you next time.
Sure,
Oh,
definitely.
bon appetit, bon
Definitely.
appetit.
We are going to gather once again for the third anniversary of Metamorphosis in
No,
March.
I'll try Ranya's Greek cuisine. So probably we'll just visit her there. Or she
Maybe.
visit
Yeah,
us.
Mediterranean cuisine. The healthiest
Yes,
one, the
Mediterranean.
healthiest.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All the